Hello, and welcome to Otterbein Debates. Tonight we'll be looking at the issue of pets in the dorms. Arguing for having pets in the dorms is Luce Labra, and arguing against pets in the dorms is Mara Dougherty. Our judges for this evening's debate are faculty from the Department of Communication in Journalism and Media Communication, Jeff Demas and Janice Winborn. Our student judges are Haley Schmall, a public relations major, Natasha Edmonds, a journalism major, and Clara Berglund, another PR major. The format for the debate is each student will have 6 minutes to build their case. They will each then have 3 minutes of rebuttal against the other, and then Luce, on the affirmative, will have a 1-minute summary speech. Are we ready to begin? I will be keeping time. Let's begin.
Have you heard the saying, a dog is a man's best friend? Well, it's true. Dogs, as well as other animals, are a person's best friend because they help be a companion to a person and help a person emotionally. Pets help a person emotionally, physically, and socially, which is why pets should be allowed in dorms. Currently, the policy for allowing pets in dorms are concealed animals, meaning that they are only allowed to be in tanks or small cages. Also, Otterbein allows for service animals. I am advocating to allow pets such as dogs and cats in dorm rooms. The following rules would apply to students who want a pet on campus. 1. The student would have to be in good academic standing. 2. The pet must go through regulations that Student Affairs would require. 3. The student must register their pet at Student Affairs. 4. Dogs and cats must always be on a leash if they're outside their rooms. 5. They would have to pay a small fee. 6. The student must sign a consent form stating that their pet will be their full responsibility and the student must care for their pet. And 7. Students must attend Otterbein for a minimum of 2 semesters before the student is allowed to have a pet on campus. So why should we allow pets in dorm rooms? Well, because they help students when they're going through depression, they help relieve stress, they're a companion, and pets help the owner physically, emotionally, and socially. Psychological evidence. Humans need others to make ourselves happy. Humans are pack of animals from an evolutionary perspective to make another happy. We have pets to make us happy. According to an article in Psychology Today written by Gwen Cooper, we need others to survive, and pets help with that. Some people are not socially active, so we have pets to listen to us and keep us accompanied. According to Kasadi, who has a PhD in psychology, by simply petting a cat on your lap, you can physically reduce stress, anxiety, and lower your blood pressure. In one of her studies, Kasadi found that people with pets are less depressed and stressed than those who do not have pets. Over 62% of households have a household pet, which means that 62% of Americans do not suffer from depression and anxiety. According to ADAA.org, 18% of the population has anxiety disorder, 6.8% suffer from social anxiety, 6.7% have major depressive disorder. Students who suffer from these types of disorders can improve their schoolwork by having a pet in their dorm room. There are so many undiagnosed anxiety and depression disorders, so by allowing pets in dorms in general, not just as a service animal, it would also increase their academics and social skills because they are not diagnosed with a disorder. Having a pet is also relaxing, and it's nice to know that you have someone waiting for you when you go home. By allowing pets in dorms, it teaches students responsibility to care and clean for them. Physically and social involvement. Animals help with physical health. In a 2002 study, researchers found that people who had a dog or a cat have lower heart rates and blood pressures than those who do not have a pet under a stress test. By walking your dog, you increase physical exercise and you increase your social interactions. In a study done by Mumford and McComsky, students who were given a dog were more social and made more interactions with people as opposed to those who were giving a houseplant or those who were not giving anything. The dog was point for conversation, which increased social interactions between strangers. In another study done by Hunt and Hart, they found that small animals facilitate social interactions among strangers. Studies show that people who have pets have more social interactions with people. Those who will walk their dogs at the park create more friendships with others as opposed to those who are alone. About 37.9% have made more friendships, according to Wood and Burke. Also, dog walking can reduce loneliness and stress levels amongst people, according to Laurer, Mays, and Lundia. Those who walk dogs have higher social interactions and reduce their feelings of being alone or isolated. Those who have pets increase physical activity because they go to the park more and have to walk their dogs. Dogs can also increase security when walking at night. 3. Increasing retention. Cats and dogs are examples of cohabiting animals, companion animals. Companion animals have been around for centuries and throughout all cultures. Pets meet basic human requirement for companionship. Humans with pets will make decisions based on their pet, for example, housing. A study showed by a psychology professor at The Ohio State University that owners who keep their pets say that my pet has helped me keep active. 24.3% say that. 39.9% of people say that I would be lonely without my pet, and 18.8% say that my pet helps me get through hard times. Keep in mind that these are college students that are being surveyed. This means that pet owners will make decisions based on their pet, meaning that they will choose a university that allows pets in dorm rooms. If pets were allowed in dorm rooms, the retention rate would increase, which means more money for Otterbein. Otterbein should allow pets in dorm rooms because the students who do have service animals now are being discriminated against. Right now, we know that if you have a dog, it is because you have some form of disability, and that is why you should try to And that is what we should try to avoid as a community. By allowing pets in dorms, we can avoid discrimination, including those with a disability, increase physical health, emotional health, and increase our social skills throughout campus. Only 20 universities allow pets in dorm rooms. Maybe we can be the 21st.
Okay, Liz, I have a few questions for you regarding your opening statement. Would transfer students be allowed to bring pets onto campus?
Yes, as long as they meet the requirement of 2 semesters in another university.
Okay, why are you putting a 2-semester requirement on bringing a pet to campus?
Because first-year students are usually unaware with the campus. They're usually scared and more stressed. So by having them have a pet, it would increase their instability, and they don't know the campus well enough to have a pet.
Okay. Would there be a size or a weight limit on animals that are allowed in dorms at Otterbein?
Yes, any animal would go through student affairs regulation, and if student affairs feel like an animal is too big or unsafe, they have the right to deny that animal.
Okay. You also quoted some research done by the ADA. What is the ADA exactly?
The ADA is a website by the Anxiety and Depression Association of America.
Okay. Thank you.
College living is unique, and with an ever-changing college schedule, you're free to do essentially anything you want at any given time. Insert a pet into the equation and you lose a lot of those freedoms. You might find your boss unhappy with you when you have to leave work early to let your dog out, or you may have to turn down that weekend trip with your friends because you can't find anyone to watch your dog or cat on their day off. College also means adjusting to new living situations and schedules. These big changes can stress animals out, and if you end up barely interacting with your pet because you're too busy, what's the point in having one? First and foremost, pets require stability, and trust me, college students are definitely not as stable as one might think. According to transitionyear.org, it is easy to think of emotional issues as things that always happen to other people. But studies show that emotional issues, from stress and anxiety to depression and eating disorders, are the main reasons that college students struggle. Recent research also found that 50% of college students have been so stressed that they couldn't get their work done during the school year. Adding the work of taking care of a pet would only make that situation worse. Another very important problem with allowing any student to bring a pet to campus is the issue of housing. We're in college, we live in dorms, and we live in tiny apartments. We don't have yards, and we can't just open up our back door to let our pet run free. Housing is by far one of the most under-anticipated challenges to owning a pet. Unless a student with a pet lives alone, they will need to get all of their roommates on board with adopting a pet too because you share the same living space. Everyone may be enthusiastic at first about getting a pet, but don't think that they're automatically agreeing to take care of that pet as if it was their own. Living with roommates is already tricky, and you can get into some hot water by adding a potentially noisy, messy, or allergy-inducing pet to the new household. And you will be presented with all sorts of issues when it comes time to making housing arrangements for years to come. If you're changing roommates, it can be very hard to find someone who is agreeing to living with your pets, not to mention finding an apartment that will actually allow pets. If you do find a pet-friendly apartment, there will most likely be a monthly fee due to higher risks of damages due to owning a pet. And according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, allergies to pets with fur are common, especially among people who have other allergies or asthma. And in the United States, 3 in 10 people with allergies have allergic reactions to cats or dogs. Cat allergies are about twice as common as dog allergies, and people with dog allergies may be more sensitive to some breeds of dogs than others, and some people may be allergic to all dogs. People may think certain breeds of dogs are hypoallergenic, but a truly non-allergenic dog or cat does not exist. The best treatment is to avoid contact with cats or dogs in the areas in which they live. Pet allergies can also be a social problem, making it difficult to visit friends and relatives who have cats and dogs. This may be especially troublesome for some college students who are getting together for either a study group or a group project. A student with a severe pet allergy could potentially not be able to participate in these kinds of activities. And let's face it, pets are messy. They have accidents. Potty training a new puppy would be extremely difficult in a dorm room. Not to mention if your pet has fleas. According to fleascience.com, on average, a female flea will lay 25 eggs per day, and she can live up to 7 days. If one pet got fleas on campus, it would be extremely difficult and costly to the university to exterminate because of how quickly they would reproduce. Dorm rooms are already small enough, and adding a large dog or even a litter box would just add to the smell and a mess of an already tight living situation. Unless your cat is declawed, it will most likely claw and scratch at curtains, beds, or any other soft pieces of furniture. Male cats are dominant, and they will spray various items throughout your dorm or apartment, marking their territory. Dogs track an immense amount of dirt, and they enjoy chewing on things, especially if it's a puppy or a young dog who is teething. Some dogs never grow out of chewing on things, and they'll chew on furniture, school supplies, rugs, you name it. And by the time you get back from class, the damage a pet could cost you hundreds of dollars. Do you as a college student want to be responsible for destruction of property, whether it is yours, your roommates, or property of Otterbein University? Probably not. Finally, let's discuss finances and pet ownership. Like most pet purchases, the actual buying of the pet is the cheapest part of ever owning one. According to an article on HuffingtonPost.com, pet boarding company Rover stated that adopting a new dog or puppy typically costs owners $2,858 in the first year. This estimate from Rover takes into account the expenses including a dog's initial adoption fee, vaccinations, monthly food bills, vet visits, and chew toys. Rover also says that they looked at different breeds, states, and veterinary options to determine the estimates of then spending at least $75 a month on your pet. With small pets and service animals already welcomed on campus, why do we need to add the potential expense not only for students, but Otterbein University? Thank you.
I have a few questions for you. You mentioned that animals are potentially noisy. Does that mean that they all are?
I think it's hard to say. You know, a lot of times if a dog hears something outside, especially at night, it's going to bark. And a lot of times when one dog barks, multiple dogs will bark if they can hear it too. So I think it's kind of, you can't really regulate when a dog is going to be noisy or not.
You mentioned that apartment fees. Do those specifically, the fees, do they specifically go to apartments?
I'm sure if Otterbein did allow pets, there would be a raised fee for anyone who had pets. But I was more talking about after college and after Otterbein. Usually students who have graduated will live in apartments, and finding one that is pet-friendly without an extra expense will be hard.
And are there any programs on campus that help students with eating disorders, stress, and anxiety?
Yeah, the Center of Student Affairs offers counseling for students who have those kind of issues and need to talk to someone about it.
Do you know how much it would cost?
I'm pretty sure most of the visits are free until you hit a certain point, and then the visits with counselors start costing, just like if you were going to a psychiatrist.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Student Affairs would have to make regulations and has already made regulations anticipating the issues of cleanliness, allergies, and roommates. With cleanliness, you would already have to, Student Affairs would require a fee to allowing an animal in your dorm room, which would include access to dog bags throughout campus and to keep the campus clean, also for dorm destruction. Allergies. People who have pets as children tend to become immune to allergies because they grew up with animals and around those conditions. And I'm not saying allowing an animal in every single floor in every single dorm room. I'm saying to have a specific dorm building for people who are willing to have pets. And with roommates, you can pick roommates, and when you're a freshman, you fill out a survey. One of the potential questions would be if a student is willing to live with another pet. And if they are with similar interests, they will put you in a room with someone who has a pet. The studies I've mentioned earlier by many psychologists, they suggest that they reduce stress and keep students here. And a dog may not have a lot of room in the dorm room or a backyard to play in, but what's stopping us from allowing them to have campus as their backyard?
The Humane Society of the United States warns that pets require commitment and money for at least 15 years or more, and many students don't think that far ahead. Just food and routine vet care can cost hundreds of dollars a year, and if a pet gets hurt or sick, the tab can be thousands. Just like people, dogs have their good days and their bad days, but for the 4.7 million dog bite victims each year, a dog's bad day can result into serious injury or even death. In 2012, State Farm Insurance alone had 3,670 dog bite claims and had to pay more than $108 million as a result of dog bites. Ohio is also ranked number 4 with State Farm Insurance as having the highest percentage of dog bites in the United States. Dorm living is unique, and it may be true that stress levels can be reduced with a pet, but the added responsibility of pet ownership on top of schoolwork counteracts those reduced stress levels. And ideally, discrimination shouldn't even exist here at Otterbein University. Bringing a service animal such as a dog to campus is an individual's choice on how they want to deal with their particular issue. And by adding a pet to campus doesn't solve the problem of discrimination, because service dogs will still be noticeable because they will be in the classrooms. Whereas if any student could bring a dog or a cat to Otterbein, they would have to stay in the dorm. Most college students aren't entirely sure where they're going to be upon graduation, and having to worry about a pet in the mix of moving and finding a job will only add more stress. Dogs need a very structured routine and immense amount of exercise to stay healthy and happy. Having a dog or a cat stuck in a dorm room is not in the best interest of the pet. Please take into consideration the stress levels of an animal and the negative impacts that could potentially happen to the pet's health. Otterbein's mission statement claims that Otterbein University is an inclusive community that is dedicated to educating the whole person in the context of humane values. Our mission is to prepare graduates to think deeply and broadly, to engage locally and globally, and to advance their professions and communities. An Otterbein education is distinguished by the intentional blending of liberal arts and professional studies, combined with a unique approach to integrating direct experience into all learning. Otterbein University is a place for learning, and with service animals already allowed and welcomed at Otterbein, as well as small caged animals into the dorms, why should we add more chaos to the college experience by letting more students bring a cat or dog to campus with them? Thank you.
While accidents do happen, students still have signed a waiver that they are going to be fully responsible for their pet. If their pet does tend to bite or harm someone, Students Affairs would already have regulations and have the ability to remove the dog from campus if needed. If our mission is to be inclusive as a community, then why are we discriminating against those with a disability? By allowing pets in dorms, it reduces a student's stress, anxiety, and blood pressure. It increases our social activity with strangers and increases our physical health. It also allows us as a community to be inclusive of all people and not discriminate. So these are some reasons why I think that we should allow pets in dorm rooms. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'll give the judges a minute here to think about which way they want to vote, and thank Otterbein TV for covering this live and WOBN for the live coverage as well. Also want to thank the art department for our wonderful PR posters. And this is the last debate of this academic year, so I thank the various audience members who have attended and enjoyed our debates. So judges, do we have a decision? Hold up the card that represents how you feel. And we have a 4-1 decision against pets in the dorms. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year. Thanks.
Yay.